Hi everyone, welcome to Figure Out Your Finances. My name is Marion. I'm the founder of She Means Business. The aim of She Means Business is to help business owners to understand their finances. We do this through our Finance Academy, Virtual CFO services and our mentoring services. You can find out more at shemeansbusiness.ie. Today I want to talk to you about how and where to start with understanding your business's finances, and perhaps becoming more proactive with understanding and managing your business's finances. I think with a lot of business owners, finance is something that people tend to internalize. So I don't understand my figures. I hate figures. I'm no good at maths. My accountant looks after my finances. I don't have a clue, and so on. Some people think that the problem is theirs and theirs alone, but it's not. A 2019 report by the Small Firms Association found that only 46% of small businesses had good or expert financial literacy. This means that the majority of small Irish businesses do not have good financial literacy. The report also found that the majority of Irish business owners don't read their accounts on a monthly basis, they don't use their financial statements, and a high portion don't understand financial statements and have had no financial training. So understanding finances is a huge issue. It's not just one industry or one type of business, it's across the board. Business owners I've dealt with in the past have either had a particular pain point, so one or two particular issues when it comes to finances, or they're just completely overwhelmed or afraid of the whole area. One or two have even had loads of money coming in and don't really feel like they need to understand their finances. You know, there's no benefit to it. But finance underpins every area of business. It impacts every single decision. So say, for example, if you want to recruit somebody, expand your business, diversify your offering, pivot, invest, or so on, understanding your business's finances is going to help you to make informed decisions. But where do you start? How do you start? So, shameless plug, the Figure Out Your Finances programme will commence on the 4th of January. It runs for 4 weeks. And during that course, I will bring you through what I see to be the 10 steps of figuring out your finances. I'll also provide Excel templates for everything we cover, providing you with a suite of information in relation to your business's finances. So you can find out more at shemeansbusiness.ie. Aside from the course, the main thing is that you start. So perhaps the very preliminary step is listening to this podcast, kind of dabble in a wee bit. But from here on in, it's up to you to commit to understanding and or managing your business's finances. So it's really, nobody can do it for you. You as a business owner have to drive this on. When you do this initially, you might be really, really tempted to slam that laptop down and give up. And that's what I really, really don't want to happen. But it's like anything else, if you stick with it, and you put in the effort, you'll reap the rewards. So step 1, start by listing your pain points if you have them. List all the questions you'd like to know the answer to. Let's say your particular issue is your pricing or your cash flow. Having a pain point means that you've given this some thought. So that's a good place to start. The next step then is to look at the information you have before you pick up the phone, send an email, go online, look at the information you have at your disposal. So let's say it's your cash flow. Take your bank statements and work through where your cash is actually going. Then think about what you maybe need to do next. So for example, do you need to open a separate business bank account? So perhaps you're working off a personal bank account and you need to separate business and personal. Or maybe you need a separate bank account for your accruals. So for example, your VAT liabilities or your insurance or any of those big expenses that you have to pay. So once you've had a look through your bank statements, what do you need to do next? Let's say your issue is your pricing. So take your price list and work down through it. So pricing is so topical at the minute because the prices of utilities and product, everything is rising. So do your prices, at first glance, do your prices make sense based on your costs, including your overheads like rent and rates and insurance? So there is a detailed analysis that we do on the pricing masterclass, but for you sitting down at home with your laptop or in your office with your laptop by yourself, does this look sensible based on your current costs and like from a very, very high level? As I say, more than likely, given the current climate with rising utility costs and material shortages and price increases, you need to increase your prices, but you need to understand your costs initially. So then if it's general overwhelm or fear of the whole area of finances, one starting point is your annual accounts. So get a copy. If you don't have a copy, obtain a copy, sit down with them, read them. Do they make sense? And it's literally taking it line by line, working down through your sales, your cost of sales and your overheads. Do they all make sense to you, or do you have queries? And it's just, starting with your accounts, something that you already have. Another possible starting point is to start with a blank sheet and then pull together your budget for the coming year. So a budget is where you're at a point in time and you pull together your expected sales, cost of sales and overhead. So how you expect your business to perform. And then what you have is then your net profit. So sales, less cost of sales, less overheads is equal to your profit. Again, like this, if you're starting with your budget, it just means that you're going to be pulling together, how much is my rent every month? How much is my electricity? What are my wages? You're just pulling everything into one place. So that's, step 2 is to work with the information that you have. Have a look at it, because what will happen is once you start breaking it down, you'll actually realize how much you do know. But if you feel like you're struggling, so if you're just feeling like the urge to slam down the laptop and walk away, step 3 would be to get some support. So talk to your accountant about your concerns, or even just the fact that you want to understand your finances a bit better. Or get a financial mentor. So we offer this service through She Means Business, or your local enterprise office might also be able to help you. They offer mentoring services. We all need a little help sometimes, and sometimes just talking through your issue might be enough to get you started. So if just as a note, if you're in the latter category and you have more money than you know what to do with, well done, but you're still going to have to pay taxes and you're still going to have to make decisions about your business. So it's always a good time to take control of your finances. I think finance is a bit like a jigsaw. So once you start filling in the blanks, it will all come together and you'll have that full picture. But sitting down, starting to look at the information that you have, like your accounts, your bank statements, your price list, that's like the corner pieces. Then taking the next step, whether it's upskilling or talking to someone, or putting processes in place, whatever that next step might be, is like filling in the jigsaw pieces. We all have to manage our own personal money. We're all paying rent, and we're all paying mortgages. We're all paying, all our own personal expenses. Like, we're all managing money all the time. And your business's finances are really no different. So much of whenever it comes to business finances, it's just adding, taking away, maybe a bit of multiplication, a bit of division. There's nothing complicated. I'd say 80% of business's finances is really, really straightforward. So once you start to understand, once you start to build up that understanding, it will all come together. The main thing is that you commit to it. And I always say, whether there's a will, there is definitely a way. So there are my 3 things, 3 places to start. 1, sit down and commit to it. Number 2, start looking at the information that you have. And number 3 is get some support. So talk to someone. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you found this useful. If you did, can you leave me a review or share the episode? Finance is something that can really cause huge stress to business owners, especially, in the current climate. So maybe listening to this podcast could just be someone's first step to help being able to, comfortably manage their finances. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. If you'd like to find out more about how She Means Business can support your business, visit shemeansbusiness.ie. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. This podcast has been written in general terms and therefore does not constitute professional advice. Application of the principles set out will depend on particular circumstances, and it is recommended that you obtain professional advice before acting or refraining from acting on any of the content of this podcast. To the maximum extent permissible by law, Marion Kane, trading as She Means Business, accepts no duty of care or liability for any loss occasioned to any person acting or refraining from acting on any of the content of this podcast.